What I want
What's
to share
good?
with my
What's
broke
good?
neck. No, we receive a healed body.
Yes.
What I want to share is just be thankful, be grateful, have joy,
Mhm.
have peace. And I want that for our black women.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to our black women specifically because I see so many that don't have that.
Hmm.
And so I want that for you all. I want that for us.
Yeah.
I want unity. I want friendship. I want connection and
Right.
genuineness.
Yeah.
I want accountability
Hmm.
because there have been things that if there was accountability, I probably would still have those
Right.
relationships.
Yeah. And I want people to
So,
add to your list. I want people to find their own happy. I feel
yes.
like once you find your
Yes.
happy, like what makes you tick, what gets you going in the morning, how you move through your
Yes.
days, how do you handle business, all of those things, I feel like that opens the door for it. Because I feel like so many
Mhm.
people are not,
Yep.
and then it comes off like it's rough, it's harsh, right? But
Mhm.
if you really wanted the place to start
Is with you.
is with you.
Yes, yes.
Welcome to Shift Chats with my special guest, Tiffany M. Simmons. Now we just had a little chuckle because I said, "What the info?" You said what?
Thank you for having me first.
Yes.
But yes, M is for Money Michelle.
Okay. Money Michelle. Now, did you get that nickname like as a kid? You gave it to yourself?
I did not get that nickname as a kid. Honestly, I just made it up as we were speaking.
Okay.
But it's funny you mentioned nicknames.
Yeah.
Because there is one name that we're kind of putting down for now.
Okay. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
Okay.
So, one of the first things that I've been doing when I have guests come on is to ask you to send me a picture.
I did.
And I usually, when I send that request, I'll be like, don't overthink it. And you sent me a picture of little you. I think you might have been, I don't know, 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. Tell me, how old were you?
I didn't look at the date on it, but it probably was around the 4 or 5.
Okay.
4, 5, 6 maybe.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the question, what would you tell 4-year-old Tiffany?
4-year-old Tiffany, I would tell her that it's going to be okay, that you are going to be well, that you are going to do amazing things in this world.
Yes.
You will be loved, you will be protected, and all is well.
All is well. I like that. To little Tiffany. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So,
got me tingling talking to her. We have to love that inner child.
Yes, we have to love the inner child because I don't think people understand the depth of why we need to be focused on the inner child and healing. And no, we're not healing forever. We've talked about that. Like there's this journey of healing that we go through. Mm-hmm. And I think that as we continue to learn ourselves is where the real healing starts, and you continue to just keep working through that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I have a little introduction for you because you have done some amazing things.
Thank you.
So I am going to read because I don't want to miss anything. And then you can tap in and chime in because I'm sure I might miss something. But I have that you have never lost a trial in 15 years. That you're a HBCU graduate.
Yes, yes.
That you have been an actor and your latest role was on Street Legal South. Yes. So we'll definitely have to get into that. And you are now working on a Black lawyer pop-up museum.
Yes, well, I actually did the pop-up.
Okay.
And I am working to have a brick and mortar, state-of-the-art
Okay.
Black lawyer museum. Yes.
I love that. So did I miss anything about Tiffany, in your... Who is Tiffany?
Well, you probably have because I'm multifaceted.
Absolutely.
I'm also an author as well.
That's right.
I have 5
I
books.
was going to say, you got a few books.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have more to release, however, but, that'll be God's timing.
Okay, tell us about your favorite book that you wrote.
My favorite. I think the favorite, honestly, was the kid's story. It's called The Love School Story, and it's a short read, probably about 10 pages.
Okay.
And what it is, it's a story of a little girl that is a kid lawyer.
Okay.
Henceforth, kind of, based on me.
Yeah.
And when she saw that there was no love in the world, she wanted to bring love back to the world. So I have one story that's already out. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a series.
Okay.
And the fun part of that is the first book I had illustrated by a little girl she was, I think, 11 at the time, a little Black girl. Mm-hmm. So to be able to, share a story and then also pull in the next generation to share their gifts with the world, that was most fulfilling for me.
Okay. I love that. I love it. So we will definitely have to put in the little message about the books, and we'll make sure we share all of your books on there. So first question. As I stated, you never lost a trial in 15 years, which is incredible.
By the grace of God, I will say, and I do want to add to that. Now, I did have one case that was in 2022. That is a case that is pending. So that accuracy rate is probably at a 99.9.
Okay.
Until that's clear.
Yeah.
However, we are still standing as undefeated. And again, I give all praise to God. Because without God, I wouldn't be the undefeated attorney.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my question, because we clarified. So what inner mindset shift did it take for you to go to be a law student at a HBCU to become the plugged lawyer? And I know we're going to get into that later, with $160 million jury verdict under your belt.
Yes, that was a verdict for the wrongful death of 2 of our clients. I thank God that we were able to get a form of justice for that family. Mm-hmm. Although we were awarded a $160 million verdict, that will never bring back their loved ones.
Absolutely.
One of my clients, he actually had a baby on the way. So his daughter will never, meet him in physical form. So when we look at justice, and this is a little side note, I often ask my clients, when they bring their case or their matter to the firm, what does justice look like for you?
Right.
What would you like to see as justice?
Yeah.
Whether it's a criminal case where a person may say, hey, Attorney Simmons, I am okay with probation. Mm-hmm. Hey, Attorney Simmons, I can't do probation. I am okay with possible jail.
Right.
Or, hey, Attorney Simmons, I didn't do this. Let's fight this. And let's win.
Right.
And I win.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So, justice looks very different in each person's eyes. Mm-hmm. And as an attorney, that is very advantageous for you to ask, what am I specifically fighting for you?
Right. I love that, because I'm sure families are often stuck a little bit when you ask that question, because you really do kind of have to look at everything.
Yes.
Like the time it's going to take, the cost is done. There's so many intricacies that are involved in that. So
you're right. Like that case took us 5 years to get a where we got.
Right.
And then even after, that notable jury verdict, because that's one of the highest verdicts in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
We still had a process after that. So the legal industry is a lot. And I thank God for, using your words. I thank God for the shifts that have come through, with doing that.
Right. Okay. I love it. So, next question I'm asking you, so many entrepreneurs struggle with burnout and self-doubt. How do you manage your mental health and motivation while juggling being a Black female, attorney, actor, creator, and building a brand on social media?
Wow. How do I maintain and balance? And first and foremost, God. I think one of the things you were speaking about earlier that we went off, you said, what was the shift in my mindset that got me here?
Right.
And honestly, it has always been in me. And the things that have pushed me to pursue the things in me were, first of all, my faith. But when we look at the challenges of life, I will honestly say a lot of what pushed me and motivated me were the things that harmed me. So in a sense, the things that really were for my bad were for my good, if we want to look at it in that way.
Okay.
Because if it wasn't for some of the childhood things, I wouldn't have the resilience. I wouldn't have had the tenacity. I wouldn't have had the gall to do some of the things that I've done. I shared in another interview in the past that, me not coming from lawyers was, in one hand, could have looked at as a negative because, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know this industry. However, it was such a positive because I was a blank canvas for God. And so whatever it was, I had a lot of unorthodox ways in my practice.
Okay.
And it allowed me to hear God, listen to God, and do the things God told me to do to get to the win. But had I, believed in another system or listened to, Joe Blow or such and such because this is how they did it, I would have missed what God wanted to do through me.
Right.
So.
Okay. I love that. Thank you.
But yeah, it's just the biggest thing is faith, honestly. I can only say faith. I never had a plan B. I never had something to fall back on.
Right.
I'm not in a situation where somebody is saying, hey, oh, just sit down and I'll take care of you. And nothing is wrong with that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we learn through trial and error. We learn the lesson of we have to save ourselves.
Right.
And whatever that looks like for your life.
Right. Yeah. You listen. You own it, honey. You are absolutely on it. I love that. So I am thinking about some conversations we've had, and this goes to something you shared with me recently, because I didn't know that you had been divorced. So we are divorcees. Like, that's a thing. You have to say you a divorcee. Even when you filling out like paperwork and stuff, like you have to say that, which I think is really weird. But anyway,
Yeah.
So divorce and friendships can change us.
Yes.
How did those experiences shape your view of loyalty, leadership, and legacy as a woman who empowers others?
Oh, wow. That is a great question.
Thank you.
Okay, so backtrack. For me, I was not really the girl that said, oh, I want to be married with the 2.5 kids and the white picket fence. When I left home at 17, the teenage age of 17, left home from Michigan to go to Florida, FAMU for undergrad. I did have a vision. I had a vision of me and my partner, taking on the world and having that loyalty with each other and building something, right? So going through the experience of, getting married and, experiencing what I thought was a level of love that I deserved, and seeing that did not sustain, it was hurtful.
Right.
It was a process because you're actually grieving the family you thought that you created. And then you have to grieve a person that may still be alive.
Right.
As if they weren't.
Right.
Because that situation is no longer. And it also made me the woman that I am today as well. Because had I not went through that short marriage and then divorce, I wouldn't have known my worth. I wouldn't have known some of the things that I know I want now or deserve
Right.
now. I wouldn't have known some things that I probably needed to do better in my next
Mm-hmm.
situations. Marriage is a gift,
Yeah.
and I did not experience the gift of the marriage for for what I went through.
Okay.
We had a lot of time where we were just together out of the time frame,
Mm-hmm.
and a short period of being married before we split up.
Okay.
So, when I used to look back at my former marriage and grieve that, I would, most look at the fact that we were in each other's lives for a lot of years. And when the gift of marriage
Mm-hmm.
was given to us, we didn't,
Right.
I'll just say we squandered
Right.
it, because I don't want to say he,
Mm-hmm.
or just me. Two to
Right.
tango
Yeah.
and two to separate.
Yeah.
And it also caused me to look at my community around me, whether it
Mm-hmm.
was friends or family, because when those things happen, is there a family that are trying to support healthy relationships, or
Right.
is the family trying to not
Mm-hmm.
support that?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a person that has experienced, abandonment or
Right.
things like that, which I have experienced, it can be a toll.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank God for bringing me through that. I thank God for that experience as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
And, moving forward, it just taught me to kind of slow down with some things and
Mm-hmm.
matters concerning of the heart.
Right. Absolutely. Listen, I love that, honey.
Yeah.
You over here preaching, honey. Listen, listen. Because I think about like one of my when I was going through my divorce, and I had, someone, a elder, I guess you could say, in my family say,
Mhm.
"Well, why don't you just cheat on him?" And I was like, "Huh? Like
Right.
who gives this advice?"
Right.
And for me, such a young mind, it's like I felt like in my situation we were so young.
Mhm.
Like, and not that that's an excuse, because people have, people be together 30, 40 years and,
Mhm.
all the things. But I just think in my case, we were so young, and we didn't have, to your point, community around us that was
Mhm.
supportive and encouraging, or even models to go by. I think I've said before,
Exactly.
like, our model, like, we was going off of the Cosby's, like, okay, we got a
Mhm.
house, we working, we
Right,
got the
right.
kids, like, so I feel like there's definitely some education and information that needs to be had for, people in
Mhm.
relationships. And I know we've talked about like relationship stuff and friendships, and I feel like that's one of the things, I've said this about shift chats, like I don't want to be the expert in relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I think what people need to be clear on, like when we're having these types of conversations, these are our own personal experiences and opinions,
Mhm.
and everybody has to go and kind of live and do their own thing. Like don't be looking to, Joe Smo on whatever podcast to tell you how
Mhm.
things should
Right.
be,
These three things will get you a girl. These three things will keep your man.
like
Yes,
what?
I don't like the microwave
Mhm.
success stories that people are gravitating
Yeah.
towards,
Yeah.
because microwave success doesn't last. I mean, we can get candid. I
Oh,
share with you
listen.
my last relationship.
Mhm.
It only lasted a month. The
Right.
guy asked me to be his girlfriend after 2 days.
Mhm.
And, stuff that starts fast will end fast.
Mhm.
You know,
You feel like
so
you want to share some lessons that you got from that experiences? Since
the lessons that
you
I've
brought up the tea
got.
child, so now we got to get into it.
The lessons that I think I can take away from that. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a bad situation. It just wasn't God's best for me.
Mhm.
It wasn't healthy for me.
Right.
One of the things that I know I can take away from that is I'm a single woman with no children. And I remember looking back at my dating experiences, doing,
Mhm.
evaluation, if we
Mhm.
call it.
Mhm.
I realized that maybe 90% of my dating experiences were with men with children. And I
Mm.
thought about that. And I said, do I deserve that? Do
Mm.
I want that?
Right.
And in doing that, how much of a disservice did I do to myself? Because I love kids. I'm
Mhm.
understanding.
Right.
But I realized I was giving more respect to them in their situation and being understanding to them instead of respecting and being understanding to mine.
Right.
So for me, that was something that I learned that I probably could have stood on when I first met him and he said he had children.
Yeah.
I could have cut it then and said, hey, we possibly can be friends, but,
Right.
For my serious dating interest, I want to, explore options with men with no children.
Right. Right.
So that's probably one thing. And that goes back to trusting our gut, trusting our intuition. I am proud of the fact, though, throughout that dating experience with him, I was paying attention to things. I was being vocal, using my voice to express my needs.
Yeah.
Sometimes as women, we don't use our voice with expressing the things that we need out of a relationship. And once I did that, he expressed that he couldn't provide that. And I'm also proud of the fact that I was able to separate and release from that situation.
Yeah, because that can be tough. And like to your point, like about having, like now, like you're saying, when you do this evaluation, like, okay, these are some things that's not going to be okay, that I don't want to entertain. And then being able to use your voice and have the boundary to say, you know what, I might need to try to do this a little differently, or I need to speak up when something is going on that I don't like. So I think that's very important. And I'm glad that you got to, do that evaluation and kind of feel and understand, like, for me, and I always kind of try to revert back to me, because I'm wanting to make sure people understand that I am, trying to share my experiences and be transparent. Look, that people throw that word out, about, things that I've gone through, not as oh, I want somebody to be like, oh yeah, I went through that too. But just also, like, we all have experiences. Like, we've all been devastated. We've all had our heart broke, and I think being able to share the story and have people understand and be able to, kind of connect in that way, and get that information and hopefully learn from it. Because I always say every experience is either a lesson or a blessing. I probably didn't say that 50, 11 times, but I really believe that that's true. And I ask people that I counsel, my clients, my kids, I say that all the time. Like, when you're in a situation, is there a lesson, but sometimes it might be both. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that the lesson is bad. It could be something good. So what did you get from that? And now what are you going to do differently as you move forward?
I definitely got good from that as well, because I was treated how I was supposed to be treated, outside of, us not being a good fit for each other. And I do understand that communication is something that is important, and that's important to me per se.
Yeah.
I've dated men that didn't have great communication or didn't have that emotional intelligence. Let's face it, I am a successful woman. And some men that I've dated, and some men that are interested, they may be interested for the wrong reasons. B, they may be interested but insecure from whatever they have going on. And those aren't my issues that I have to be concerned with.
Absolutely.
I just have to continue to be myself, live my purpose, present myself as the woman that I am, and the right people will rise to that.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And I also wanted to say one more thing, just in us sharing our testimonies, because everything is not all peaches and cream with me. As we sit right now, my neck is, hurting. You can see the neck brace. I was involved in an accident, but I'm still showing up.
Right.
That's the faith walk. You still walk by faith. Sharing our testimony. It's not for us to just say, woe is me.
Right.
It's for us to share our testimony and people to see that and praise God for our testimony, and praise God that we made it through, and praise God for seeing, oh, if I can see her as a therapist, I can do it.
Right.
If I can see her as a lawyer, I can do it.
Come on now.
So the sharing of your testimony or your challenges Nah, we ain't pity party.
Mm-hmm.
We here
Right.
to show the power of God
Right.
and how God can move through us.
Listen.
So yes, baby.
Ooh, come on now.
That's little Pastor Tiffany coming through.
Come on,
But
okay, next question. What inspired you to create the Plugs Lawyer Scholarship, and what legacy do you hope it leaves for young Black creatives and future attorneys?
Okay. So you brought up the Plugs Lawyer, and people are like, who is the Plugs Lawyer? What is the Plugs
You know, I
Lawyer?
had to kind of like.
Okay, so the Plugs Lawyer, as you see on the chain, that
Right.
is me. That's me. It was a nickname. It is a
Mm-hmm.
nickname, and I mentioned earlier just using my name.
Yeah.
My name is Tiffany Michelle Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany means the appearance of God. And so when you see me, that's what you're going to see,
Right.
whether you believe in God or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, I do have the nickname The Plugs Lawyer. That was just a nickname that I had. And the mission behind the Plugs Lawyer brand is to raise the level of Black female attorneys from the less than 2% we are in the United States to at least 5%. And I said by the year 2025, we're in 2025. And although we're not at 5%, we are making amazing strides.
Okay.
Like every day, I'm getting messages from young women that are inspired, young women that are in law school because of, seeing me, young women that, want mentorship, etc. So continuing in that purpose, that mission.
Right.
However, I know that Tiffany, I'm bigger than just that brand. So that's why we're kind of putting aside the name,
Okay.
The Plugs Lawyer, to, show the world Tiffany M. Simmons, the attorney that's opening the first ever state of the art Black Lawyer Museum.
Right.
Which is going to preserve the legacy of Black attorneys and judges in the United States.
Yeah. I love that. So
Thank you.
we're releasing the Plugs Lawyer.
We are.
As we know. Like Plugs Lawyer
Yes.
may still be around, but it's just gonna
Yes.
be a little different. Okay. I love that.
Yes. Gonna
I
be a
love
little
that
bit
for you.
different. We're shifting.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
love it.
God has us shifting to new things. And sometimes it's all in just your name.
Yeah. And you gotta release the old to get to the new.
You do.
Yeah.
So I am thankful to say to the world and your millions of viewers, because we're going to say that
Yes.
millions of people are going to
Absolutely.
continue to watch Shift Chats.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, I saw Tiffany. I
Yeah.
saw Tiffany.
Right.
Not the Plugs Lawyer.
I love that for you. I love it. I love it.
Thank
So, one of my last questions asks, and then I have a couple more things I want to chat about.
you. Okay.
What does growth look like for you now, not just in court or business, but as a woman, a creator, and an entrepreneur navigating a world that's always watching?
Growth looks like, for me, it looks like a shedding of the cocoon. It looks like the butterfly coming out. It looks like a freedom that I didn't have,
Yeah.
that a title couldn't bring, that money couldn't bring, that a outside love couldn't bring. And I'm tearing up, but yeah, it feels good. And yeah, it's just going to bring the next level that God has me as. And I know that's a billionaire status.
Right.
I know that is a person that is going to be known worldwide. You know, the Black Lawyer Museum is going to change what the world sees for the legal system in the United States. Many times the world sees the injustices that melanated people experience in the United States. So the experience that's going to be created with the Black Lawyer Museum is going to be something that's going to shape the legal industry for the next generations. You know, you may never see me in a courtroom again kicking butt unless they paying them big bucks.
Listen.
But the legacy that I have created, the legacy that will continue, whether I'm here physically or not, is something that is for the generations to come.
Yeah.
The legacy I want to leave as a woman is a legacy of what does a woman look like now? How does a woman behave now?
Right.
I want a legacy where Black women are now revered and respected how they should be in the United States. You know, a little bit more on that. I experienced the car accident
Right.
less than 48 hours ago. And to be in America, to be in Atlanta, to be a female that's melanated and feel so unprotected in times where we're supposed to just have protection of humanity.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
And so, yes, part of the legacy I want to leave is the legacy of the softness of beautiful Black women.
Yeah.
The legacy of our daintiness, our womanhood.
Yeah, it's an audacity. Listen, I just came off a retreat and I had so many women on this retreat just saying we're tired. Like, we don't want to be tired anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to be protected. We want somebody to make sure that we're good. We want somebody to call and check on us. We want, you know what I'm saying?
And it's not the superficial check on me and hey, you okay, text, or hey, go get a massage because you need self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care is from the inside out. Whether it's the hard work of writing down, you know, who you last dated and why it was good or bad, or whether it's the hard work of sitting down with the therapist, or whether it's the hard work of hiring an attorney for your business to develop properly. Sometimes that self-care is not the buying or the material things.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's the inner work, and I feel like I've been shouting it from the rooftops. Like, as entrepreneurs,
you
in
have.
this
Look, I
business.
see your posts and stuff. Yes, and I will say I love that you are able to be in a space to show people how we can integrate our wholeness into our businesses, our mental health into our businesses, our emotional health into our businesses.
Right.
You know, just again, using the experience of what I'm dealing with, you know, with the accident, you know what that effect can have on me as a businesswoman, you know, let alone the lawyer, you know, on the physical side.
Right.
Would I want to walk in the courtroom with this on and represent my client? No, I have to take the time to heal. So I can be 100% Tiffany M. Simmons, aka the Plug's lawyer, whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me broke.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. So I have some final questions, and I ask this of all of my guests. So
okay.
First question is, if you could have dinner with one guest, dead or alive, who would it be, and what's one question you would ask?
Whew. Well, as you asked me the question, my first answer was my granddad. And I would love to have dinner with my granddad. And I would say my granddad, Taylor, because when he passed away, I was about 15. And me and my granddad had a love that I haven't really experienced back in my adult years. And how I would describe it is unconditional. I would describe it as consistent. I would describe it as someone that I knew had my back.
Right.
I would describe it as a safe space.
Yeah.
You know, me and my granddad, we used to go to breakfast every Saturday.
Okay.
And he would get his eggs and coffee and toast and sausage. And I would get French toast and bacon. And I would always get French toast and bacon.
Okay.
And just the life lessons with him, you know, being around a man that was a man's man, a man
so you have
that
an example.
kept his word.
Yeah.
I remember meeting different types of people through him. My granddad was known in the city. He had old school cars and
Right.
you know, he knew different types of people. I learned, you know, about different ways to manage money. And a lot of this is not even conversation, he said.
Yeah.
It was watching.
Yeah.
I learned more by watching my elders than I ever learned from their words.
Yeah. And that's a real thing.
And the question that I would ask him, is he proud of me? And even though I know,
you know the answer to that,
I would just want to hear from him.
Right.
You know, the trauma side of when my granddad passed away is I was in a whole nother state when my granddad passed away. I was in Alabama with family of my mom's husband.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to go to the funeral of my granddad, who was my family, my constant, my whatever. And to be in a space where you're around unknown people and you're grieving. I was a teenager.
Right.
This was, you know, my granddad.
Yeah.
And not to be able to go and grieve with my family.
Yeah.
And see him buried, that had a long lasting effect on my life.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he would be the one that I would choose to have dinner with.
Okay.
Maybe breakfast, because that was our thing.
Okay. I love that. And we know that you love French toast.
I try not to eat it, you know, so much now. All the sugar and the calories.
Right. Listen, we said we're going to try it with some different kind of bread. Okay.
Yes. But you made me some, and it was good. Side note. When your friends cook your favorite food, that's love.
Listen, I be trying to make sure the people, you know, good spirits is good. And,
amen.
And you feel the love.
And I do, and I appreciate you so much. Another great point to share with the audience, just the friendship of Black women. I appreciate you.
Yes.
I affirm you. I love you. And besides being a guest on your show, just I even appreciate the fact of you being a great client of Simmons Law, because we live in a world where, you know, we're told, you know, Black women can't be friends. Black women can't do this, that, and the third. And despite being treated the worst by Black women, to be honest, and some of it can stem back to, you know, mother-daughter relationship, I still love us. And I still appreciate the ones like yourself that we're able to have a genuine connection and bond that we know is God led.
Okay.
So yes, baby.
Listen.
Get you some friends that love God and love to turn up. Cause we turns up, baby. Okay.
Oh Lord have mercy. Okay. Listen, you shared that story. So but how do they say, we would be remiss if we didn't say how we met. You know, I always give her flowers.
Yes. We will give our girl our flowers. Yes. So we have met through Imani, the Hood Healer. We first connected through her live or something.
We was on the live.
Think you seen me on the live.
And then we was on.
And then we started
got on the phone. Got on the phone like 4:00 in the morning.
Yes.
Like, it was crazy.
Yes. And it was a couple hours and we talked and talked.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Hood Healer. Shout out to Imani.
Yes.
We love you. We send well wishes to you as well.
Yes.
So yes, connections all around. Yeah. And then I just thank God for all three of us being open to receive. Because sometimes you meet good people and you leery or you're this or that. Right. And I'm not saying me per se, because honestly, a lot of the great people God has connected me to were complete strangers. So I'm used to God's blessings through strangers.
Yeah.
But for those that don't, you know, understand or have a deep relationship with God or know the power of how God moves, you know, they get leery around good people, or they're like, I don't know. And no, you might miss your blessing because you're looking for it to be wrapped in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know?
And I've been saying lately, and I actually have, look, shameless plug, because I have a group that's going to be starting on next Thursday, I believe.
Look, we might as well show them and get this book, y'all. Get my girl book. You know, we mentioned my books, but we got hers sitting right here.
Oh, thank you. But I have where shift to stay sane is what I'm going to be calling the group. And, you know, having this conversation with, you know, entrepreneurs, with women, Black women, just about, you know, how we all yearn, like we're all yearning for good friendship, fellowship, community, you know what I'm saying? And just having a conversation about what that looks like. And that as adults, it's probably going to look different than, you know, when you was in grade school or when you was in high school and you was trying to, you know, make friends with somebody.
Yes.
So I'm going to be going over some topics about that and like how do we nurture that so that we all can be, you know, because there's room for everybody. I say this all the time. You know, you as an attorney, me as a therapist, like I want you to win. You know what I'm saying? I know you want me to win. And we, you know what I'm saying? So we all can be supportive of one another.
And winning together. Look, everybody should have, you know, and my favorite artist, shout out to Cash Doll, but everybody should have a Cash Doll and Kendra P, you know, friendship. And for those that don't know, what we mean by that is everybody, you know, bossed up, balling, doing their thing in their lanes and doing it and being happy.
Yeah,
you know?
And being happy and supportive of each other.
Yes.
I love that.
But you said the stay sane. I appreciate that title. And I want to touch on that title if you don't mind. Shift to stay sane. I had to do that. And I'll say that even though I had the lawyer title, even though, yes, you get these accolades and, you know, I just won Lawyer of the Year. Shouts out to HHF. Thank you. But I had to shift to stay sane. The same mindset that created the Plugs Lawyer and made me the undefeated attorney in a world of chaos and confusion. As I grew and shifted, I couldn't stay sane because that wasn't what I thrived in anymore.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I affirm and I'm proud of that name for you because you have to shift if you want to be sane in this new lane that God has you in. You have to shift if you want to have the mindset that's going to keep you at multi-millionaire to billionaire. You know, nobody teaches you how to be a Black millionaire in America.
Exactly.
Because as soon as you're that, everybody's coming to try to take it. And yeah, I am a lawyer, but that doesn't negate the fact that I still experience the same sorts of things in my business, the same sorts of things. Once I hit that mark of, you know, multi-million, oh, nah, we coming. So it does take a mindset change and shift so you can stay there and then go to the next level. So I am even very thankful for my shifting, and that's where part of the name change or the dropping the Plugs Lawyer moniker came in, to be honest. I know I'm bigger than the Plugs Lawyer brand. However, that still is a part of me, and I appreciate God for that part of me.
And that's like the shedding, you know, when we talk about like the butterfly and the caterpillar, you know, which is kind of some of the things that I allude to in the book. It's the shedding. And that's an ongoing cycle. Like we'll continue to grow, you know,
and imagine the people that don't do the things to shift, don't do the things to grow. They're still in that real small baby cocoon. You know, even if we compare it to an onion, peeling them layers. It's some people that's still in the dirt as the onion. Ain't peeled back a layer, ain't shed a tear, nothing. And you know, I grew up in a space of F your feelings. Ain't about no feelings, you know, the tough love. And so I had to even unlearn that, because if I didn't feel, I couldn't grow. If I didn't feel, I couldn't, you know, have the compassion and empathy I needed for myself. I've always been a fighter. I've always fought for other people. Even the time I remember.
But you want people to fight for you.
You know, I remember a time I was going to say this story. I was a little girl. I was always the fearless fighter. Like, I swear. I remember one time the neighbor kid, like, she spit on my cousin. Oh, yeah. And so when I hear the story, I said, what? Oh, and I didn't went over to the house. I had to been like 8 or 9.
Right.
Went over to them people's house. Is such and such here? When the girl came to the door, I didn't slapped. Yeah, slapped her. And me and my cousin, we ran off or whatever. But I laugh at that story, and me and my cousin laughed at it for years. But I laugh at it, but I also look at, you were so fearless that you walked up to somebody's house, slapped her, and that didn't know if they was gonna drag you in the house to beat you up.
Exactly.
But you stood up for someone who couldn't stand up for themselves, or whatever way you want to look at it.
Yeah. So that's been in you.
That fearlessness, or that dog that you need to be successful. That dog that you need is in you. Yeah. It can't be bought. Right. It can't be taught.
You absolutely right. One of my last questions. One piece of advice related to healing and entrepreneurship that you want to share.
Okay. Well, the piece of advice I would say related to healing is surrender. Surrender to it. Even in these last 48 hours.
Right.
I have surrendered to what it is. And sometimes that can be difficult for entrepreneurs of surrendering.
Yeah.
Because we know that sometimes if you don't work, you don't eat. However, you got to surrender to knowing that God is your source. A little bit more of my testimony as the entrepreneur of the law firm, the law business, because it is a business, even though I provide a service. There have been times where had I not had the healing of knowing that God is always my source, or had not had the healing of knowing how to have emotional intelligence versus just run and fly, I wouldn't have made it through. And what I mean by that is the times where you're not bringing in physical money.
Right.
Are you developed enough to use that time to read more books, develop more skills, and get the money in other ways?
Yeah.
Volunteer your time.
Yeah.
There have been plenty of times where maybe the business was slow, or I wasn't going to allow people to not pay me my worth. I would use that time and go volunteer at the soup kitchen.
Right.
And don't you know, I would meet people.
Oh, yeah.
And they would be surprised that, you a lawyer? Oh, I thought you was here for probation like me. Or, oh, you ain't getting paid to do this? No, I said, this my payment.
Yeah.
And some of them would understand, and some of them wouldn't.
Right.
But you have to make sure you're doing everything. Absolutely. And not just one.
I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, that's good.
Of the puzzle. You have to give back. You have to give to yourself. You have to be healed enough to know that if you aren't together, it's going to affect your business.
Absolutely.
It's going to affect how you treat your clients. It's going to affect how you earn money.
Right.
It's going to affect how you grow and develop. When you're open to healing, when you're open and surrendering to the process, you're able to hear your friends say, hey, I did an evaluation. This is how I think that you can better improve your social media.
Yeah.
But if you're not healed, you're like, bitch, I know everything already. I got it.
Yeah.
No, I'm sticking to this.
Right.
Just this morning, another friend that cares shared with me, as we talk about dropping the plugs lawyer.
Right.
If I wasn't healed, I wouldn't have been in a space to receive him. Yeah. I would say, oh no, I didn't put millions into this brand. It's trademark, it's this, that, and I'm not dropping that.
Right.
I could have been from that space. But all I said to him was okay.
Yeah.
And I was able to receive. So to the entrepreneurs out there, be ready to heal, because we all healing through different things. Absolutely. Different traumas, different things that was either the motivating factor as to how we became the entrepreneur. Right. Entrepreneurs learn how to surrender to God, not what you want it to look like.
Right. Because he got the plan.
Even though, I may have wanted Simmons Law to look totally different. I've always modeled Simmons Law like a large corporation, but I have been the face of it.
Right.
That might not have been, the plan that I ultimately had, but again, this is a faith walk. You walk by faith, not by sight.
Right.
And I just thank God that I'm able to do that and continue to give myself grace while doing that.
Yeah. I love that for you. I
Thank you. Thank you.
The shift is happening when?
Now. It has happened. When you're able to speak about it, it is already done.
Yeah. In your own, your own healing, your own doing your own work, and it's not easy. And I'm hoping that I've been able to share some of that, as people have been watching.
It's not.
And even for you, have people have been watching. Like, the journey it's a journey, and it's a process. So just work on your own happy.
Yes, and working on that could be, therapy. Working on that could be books. It can be whatever is helping you move forward.
Yeah.
And I will, be the first to say, I have had therapy. I have had grief therapy, dealing with the grief of loved ones, or even the grief of the marriage that didn't work out. I've had therapy after I was the victim of a situation.
Right.
So do what you need to do to heal. That's how I'm able to, articulate and say these testimonies.
Right.
To share with others.
Right.